Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Awkward Fist Bump Production. What's up everybody? How y'all doing? So, today I'm going to just talk a little bit about my prison experience again. Let you know a little bit about more where I did time and all that. So, I got locked up August 10th, 2009, and I was locked up till August 10th, 2019. 10 years straight. So, I went to the county and I did 18 months in the county. I did a year and then I got sentenced. And once I got sentenced, I got moved over to another dorm where everybody was sentenced waiting to be shipped to prison. And that took me 6 months to be able to get shipped to prison. And the great thing about that was at that time in that dorm, once you get shipped to go to prison, it's locked down for, it was like 23, I think it was like 23 and 1 at first, and then they changed it to 22 and 2, and then I think they changed it to like 21 and 3 or something like that. Something like that, where you only came out, I think it was like where you came out like an hour and a half in the morning, an hour and a half in the afternoon. But I had to do that for 6 months straight. So that was pretty crazy, man. Once I did the 18 months in the county, I finally got shipped to what Georgia calls the Diagnostic Center, which is in Jackson. That's where, they used to have like one or two other places where you'd go through diagnostics and they shut the other ones down, and now everybody goes through Jackson. And so I did a little over a month there, and right out of a month I think, went through my diagnostics, got classified and all that, and I got shipped to my first camp, which was Waycross, Ware State Prison. I was there for a little over 2 years, and after that I got shipped to Dooley County, and I did I forgot a couple months there. Then I got a disciplinary shipment. It's like one thing after another kind of happened, and they shipped me. It was kind of crazy. There's like 3 different stories. I'll tell y'all about that later. That happened back to back to back, so I got shipped. Went to another camp. Was there for like 6 months, I think. I went to Coffee County, and things were going pretty good there, and then something real crazy happened, and that'll be another story for another time. And got shipped from there and went to my last and final camp, which was Wheeler, and I did most of my time at Wheeler. The rest of my time I did there until I went to the halfway house, or the transitional center. Every state they call it something different, but the TC, the transitional center. And so I did like 4.5 years or something like that at Coffee, I think, and then I went to the transitional center for like, I think 9 months, and I was able to work, and and then once I finished up that time, I went home. One thing, and I've said it more than once, I've said it again, this channel, I want it to be about, I don't want people to go to prison, and I don't glorify prison. It's a crazy mistake I made, and, if you're out there committing crimes, man, please, bro, it is not worth going to prison. You need to stop, turn your life around, change your life, man, because once you get to prison, you never know what's going to happen. Like, anything can happen, and, even the biggest of the baddest guys get got. You can get got by one person, you can get got by 5, 10, 15 people. You never know in prison what's going to happen. At any given time, anything can happen. When I was at Waycross, I was there for over 2 years, and there was not ever a 2-week span where I didn't see something happen or hear about something on the compound happening. It was just always popping off. It was crazy, man. People that have life and 30, 40 years plus, and multiple life sentences. They just don't care. They don't feel like they're ever going to get out. They don't have anything to live for, so they just act crazy. And the craziest things that you can think of happen. And you're not safe really anywhere you go in prison. So it's really a mind game, and you just got to be prepared mentally to deal with it and just keep pushing, because if not, you're going to have a horrible time if you just catch PC and just sit in a cell by yourself for years on end. And that's not a way to live life. Prison sucks, but it's the best thing you can do is just take it one day at a time and keep pushing, and just adapt and overcome wherever they put you. And when I was going through diagnostics, well, first let me go back. When I was in the county, I've never, the longest I ever did was 3 months in the county in Colorado when I was 18, and I did 1 month in the Colorado at a separate time. So I had only done 4 months. So when I was in the county and I knew I was looking at some time, first and foremost, when you do time, you got to do it your own way. And the best thing to do is just be yourself and just do your time. And don't try to act like you're somebody you're not, because in prison there's so many fake people that just come up with stories, make stories, try to make themselves sound cooler and better and bigger and badder than they are. Just do your time, be who you are, and people will respect that. But in the county, I was asking all the old guys that have been to prison before and stuff like, how did you do time? How did you do time? What's the best advice you got? What's the best advice you got? And, just learn from everybody's different experiences, and just see how everybody does stuff and learn from them. You can learn from anybody. And, I just took knowledge from everybody I could just to learn how to do my time the best way. And really, even in life too, if you're at a job that you've never done anything before, don't just ask one person and figure out how to do it. Ask multiple people how they do it, how's the best way to do it, and just take bits and pieces of knowledge from everyone and learn how to do your job the best way you can do it. And if you end up having to go into jail and prison, I think that's the best way to do it too, is, first and foremost, be yourself, but just learn from other people and from their mistakes and the way that they've learned how to do time, and just take that little bit of knowledge and try your best to, just add that to your way of life, add that to your job, add that to the way that you do time. So it's just, just be very smart. It's like I've always said, it's like a game of chess. You just got to be smart on what you do, how you move, because every action becomes a reaction. Once you do one thing, how's that going to affect you? How's that going to affect your life? How's that going to affect your time? Depending on what you do, how you carry yourself, and, it's just, you just got to learn from other people's mistakes, and then try not to make those mistakes yourself. And, I did my time. I never joined any gangs. I never got into anything like that, any racial groups or anything like that. And I just did my time the best way I knew how, and just learning from other people's mistakes and watching them. And being in jail and prison, they take away all of your rights, all of your, you don't have any rights. You can't do whatever you want to do. You got to be told when to get up, when to go to bed, when to eat. You may be starving, you can't go eat yet. You may not be hungry, and they're telling you got to go eat. And it is what it is. You live a really meager life, like, where you don't have any control. So, it's not worth it. It's not worth going to prison for. And it's, your family, your loved ones out here that support you, find the best way to just live your life on the outside, so you never have to go through that, because everything's taken away from you, and you just never know what you're going to come across, what's going to happen when you get there. And once you get there, just because you got 3, 5, 10 years, whatever, you could turn that time into a life sentence by or get killed depending on how you move, how you act, how you respond to situations. And somebody tries you and then you got to go after them, and you end up killing somebody or you end up getting killed. You never know what's going to happen. So don't take that freedom away from yourself. Don't take your life away from yourself by doing something crazy out here on the streets. And you won't have that problem. So just really try your best just to change your life, smarten up, and figure out the best way to live your life freely out here in the streets. And sometimes you're just going to have to let things go that are, arguing with people or, whatever the case may be. Don't give these people that power, because once you get locked up, you have no power. It's over with. So, really just try to change your life, man, because it's not worth it. There's nothing worth going to prison for, because once you get there, you could never come home, and just off of a fluke. So I want to leave y'all with a funny story. So when you're in prison, the chow hall, they have all sorts of stuff that you can't get, packs of sugar that you can sell or put in your coffee. You might only get 2 packs in the morning, but somebody that works in the kitchen, you can get bombs of it and stuff like that, or you can get sandwiches that they made and try to sneak it back to the dorm and sell it. Different foods, onions and stuff like that, you can take back to the dorm and try to sell it and try to spice up your food. And like with different spices, onions, etc. If they're having hot dogs, hamburgers, and stuff like that, you're trying to cut it up, throw it in a pocket or whatever. But you get caught, they're going to take it from you. And sometimes you might get a DR or whatever, depending on who you're dealing with. So I was at Waycross, and there's this crazy older guy. He wasn't too old. He's probably in his 40s, but he's just funny, crazy dude. And he ended up going in his room one night and tattooing himself, and he was like, man, I got a funny tattoo that I did. He didn't tell us what it was. He's like, you'll see later, whoop-de-whoop. And so we had got in with some of the guys that work in the kitchen, and we was bringing stuff back. And, on a sidewalk, they can pat you down at any time they want to. So, like, a couple of days later, we was able to get a whole bunch of, I think, sandwiches and just a whole bunch of stuff. I think a couple onions. And we got a bunch of stuff out the kitchen. So he was like, look, I'm gonna talk to the guard on down the hill, because I know he pats a lot of people down. So I'm gonna go ahead of you, talk to him, and distract him while y'all walk past him to get back into the dorm with all the stuff. So I had my jacket and everything loaded down, and I let him walk ahead of us, and he gets down there, he starts talking to the officer, and I'm walking, and he like gets the officer to turn kind of where he's not really paying attention to everybody walking by him. And next thing I know, I'm getting closer, so he starts talking to the officer and distracting him. And next thing I know, this guy starts unbelting his belt, unbuttoning his belt and his pants, and he's turning, he's pulling his pants halfway down on the sidewalk. And I'm like, what the heck is this dude doing? And next thing you know, you see the officer busting out laughing, he's cracking up, and I just walk right on past him, keep going. And we got everything back into the dorm. So dude comes into the dorm after me. I'm in the cell, I'm taking everything out, the jacket and everything. He comes in there and he's like, man, we got by him, heck yeah, we got everything back. I was like, what the heck were you doing? Why did you pulling your pants down, bro? He was like, oh, I tattooed myself the other night and it says your name right here on the top of my ass. And I walked up to the officer and was like talking to him, and I was like, oh, what's your name again? He told him his name. He's like, oh, no way, I got your name tattooed on my ass. And he was like, what? He's like, yeah, I got your name tattooed on my ass. And he pulled his pants down and showed him. at the top of his ass crack, it said your name. And that officer just died laughing. And man, I could not believe that, dude. Like we got by so many officers after that for like a good month, just trying up new officers, and he just tell them the same story. And we got by for a while bringing stuff back from the kitchen, and he would always just go ahead of us, and there'd be a couple of us, man, we just started bringing so much stuff back because we'd get by all the officers, because he'd go up ahead of us walking, and then go distract the officers. And I mean, there wasn't one officer that didn't just crack up every time they saw that, and they just had him completely off guard, catch him off guard, have him laughing and joking, and we walk right past him and have onions and all sorts of stuff, and just go back in the dorm and eat good and sell stuff and make money off of it. But you know, while you're in prison, you do want to try to find ways to make your time go by, things to laugh at, and just make the best of the situation while you're there. You know, yeah, prison sucks, but you just find different ways to make time go by, and because if not, you're going to be miserable. So you just try to find something to laugh about, joke about, and just to find a way to make it a lot easier. But yeah, that was just insane, dude. I was laughing so hard the first time because I had no idea. He just said, "Oh, I got a tattoo. I gave myself a tattoo the other night," but he didn't tell nobody what it was. And we just walked right on past him. So yeah, that was just a crazy, crazy story. But I'll have more for y'all coming up soon, man. Please like, subscribe. Share some of our videos with your friends and family. Leave a comment. Let us know what you want to talk about or whatever, man. Just help us interact. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And y'all have a blessed day. Bam.